Perfect. Hello, everyone. It's good to see you back. Welcome to another great session of our PPM Summer Talks. We've got a wonderful professional guest who who accepted my invitation, Anna. Hello, Anna. Welcome. Thank you again for accepting.
You are welcome. So should I get started now?
Yeah, I was just about to say,
okay, good.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, thank you. And I really appreciate that you accepted the invite. I can see many new faces coming here today. This is part of our PPM Summer Talk series. And as I said, and you can actually see on your screen already, we've got Anna here with us presenting a keynote on implementing portfolio and resource management in biotech. I'm really excited as part of our PPM Summer Talk conference, a 5-week-long conference. We've still got 2 weeks coming up, so this one and next one. So I'm really sure that you're gonna enjoy everything that you see, and all of it is being recorded. So feel free to rewatch it on our YouTube channel. And this is all me done for now. So thank you again. And here is Anna. She's gonna share something about herself and then her keynote presentation. So welcome and thank you.
So good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anna Cerdeira, and today I will talk about implementing portfolio and resource management in biotech. And I was responsible for portfolio management and strategic planning for 2 years at Molecular Partners, where I implemented the portfolio management, introduced and managed the portfolio management function. Today, I'm responsible for new business opportunities. And so the objectives of this presentation so I will focus on aspects of portfolio management and resource management in a biotech. And I will answer some of the questions that are like, when do we need it, how to approach it, the challenges and opportunities. And this presentation is my personal view based on my pharma industry experience and biotech experience. And I'm sure that you as portfolio professionals have at some point lived similar experiences. So a short introduction on Molecular Partners, the biotech I'm currently working on, and these are just 2 slides. So Molecular Partners is a Swiss biotech. We are located in Zurich, and it is a company 150 employees. The company is based on a DARPin platform, and we have 3 therapeutic areas. We have oncology, virology, and ophthalmology. We have more than 5 programs that are currently in discovery and preclinical. We have 3 clinical programs. 2 of them are in partnerships, one with Amgen in oncology, the other one for COVID with Novartis in phase 3. And we have abicipar for wet AMD also in phase 3. So as you can see, it's a small company, but with quite some programs in different stages of development, including different therapeutic areas and also partnerships. So just for those who are not aware, what are DARPins? And I will explain what DARPins are, because you will see why DARPins can bring complexity and why we need portfolio management. So if you have on your left side a monoclonal antibody, and on the right side you have a DARPin. And the first thing you can see is that the DARPins are much smaller than antibodies, so they are 10 times smaller. They have a single binding domain, and they don't have an Fc region. So we need to modulate the half-life using, for example, human serum albumin. And the beauty of the DARPins is that you can assemble them together very easily in multi-specific compounds. And it's very easy to target different For example, in oncology, different tumor associated antigens and different targets. So as you can see, DARPins as a platform give you the opportunity to explore multiple therapeutic areas and do multiple products. So for portfolio management, this is a challenge, right? So which products should we choose? Which therapeutic areas should we go? So when do we need portfolio management? So first, some brief definition. So portfolio management is the process of analyzing the value of the assets in a portfolio and enable decisions regarding a resource, FTE and budget for a certain risk profile. So the objective is always to optimize the value of your portfolio and have a balanced portfolio. Resource management is the process of allocation of functional resources to the projects in a portfolio. And the objective is to optimize the resource allocation. So we want to do as much as possible, deliver the highest possible value with the resources that we have available. So when do we need portfolio management and resource management? As soon as you have more than one project and resource limitation, we really need portfolio management, because we start having the question, in which project should I invest my resources? Although we usually speak about portfolio management for research and development, portfolio management is useful along the life cycle of the product. So we have portfolio management in research and development, and we also have portfolio management in commercial. The processes are quite similar. In commercial, we need to take decisions about in which products to invest that will deliver the highest sales, the highest revenue profit for the company, but it's more short term than for R&D that has a longer term view. So how do we approach it in a biotech? So I think it's not just in a biotech, but in any pharma. We need to start with the strategy, because the portfolio is the execution of the company strategy. We need the strategy because the strategy is our framework. Without this framework to evaluate which assets fit the strategy, we cannot really do portfolio management, because we cannot select which assets is best to invest for the company. So then portfolio management, you have a component that is very strategic. So in which projects do we invest? What is the strategic fit, the value, the risk, the optimization of the portfolio, scenario analysis, and we have an operational part. So how many projects, in which stage, cost, timelines. And then we have the resources. So how many FTEs and budget to allocate by project. So this is quite complex. So how to approach it? And this is based on my experience, as I mentioned, in biotech. First of all, I think it's very important that we check what already exists. Check what are the processes and tools for portfolio and resource management. And more importantly, check, are they used and why not? Because if they are not used, most probably there is a problem that needs to be addressed. Then listen to the organization needs. So do interviews. Evaluate the organization needs at all levels of the organization. Don't stay just with the management, because like the project team members, the project leaders, and everyone in the company may have a certain need. For example, my decisions are taken too slow, or I don't understand how is the decision-making process, why my project is stopped. So portfolio management is a very important tool as well to communicate to the company and to the organization to give the rationale why certain decisions are taken. each organization is different and is in a different stage of maturity. So I cannot come from a large pharma and think that my large pharma approach will fit biotech, because this won't happen. So there is no size fits all. So we really need to first understand what the organization needs before we start doing anything. Then I would say that it's very important that after that we establish a multidisciplinary governance, because someone will need to take the decisions. And it's important that it's multidisciplinary. If we just see it from like a science point of view, even if your asset is in discovery, I think we risk that we will have research and development pitfalls that can be very expensive to recover, if recoverable. So it's really important that we start research already with the end in mind. Then establish a process and tools. So in agreement to the organization needs, the business plan of your company and the governance, agree on a process and tools to use that can serve the needs of the organization. Start simple. And Ulrika, I saw that she's here, and she worked as a consultant for us, for Molecular Partners for a while. And this was a very good advice that I received. Start simple. Don't start with the tools, because tools are just tools. So it's really, you can just use many times Excel. So you don't need really to use softwares for portfolio management in a biotech, because we can do the same with Excel. Softwares are usually not adapted for biotech, or are just a few that can be used for biotech, and then they will require time to implement. And so it's better when we start just with simple tools, and as the organization needs evolve, then we can look for other solutions. And after, I think it's very important that we communicate to the organization what is the process, what are the tools, when should the organization come to your governance committee, what can be decided at the project team level. And this is very important for the teams to understand, because we want to keep as much possible the decisions at the project level for efficiency. So what we don't want is for everything and anything to have the teams stopping their work, preparing huge slide decks and coming to the governance. So this is very important. If it's in scope, budget, within your timelines, keep the decisions at the project level. So some examples of processes and tools, and of course I had the support of my team to put these in place and also implement them. So we use the stage gate process in order to decide if we move product candidates along the development, the research and development. And for that, we have gates with very well defined parameters, and these are multidisciplinary parameters. So from the very beginning, from gate 0, we look also to the business aspects, not just science. And we just start a project if we see a fit, with the patient. If there is a patient with an unmet medical need, and if there is still an opportunity. And then we have the right technology and biology to address that unmet medical need. And for each gate, we have what we call in our company, and I think in also many companies, a project review committee that, based on the criteria defined for each gate, will decide if the project passes the gate, or if we stop, or if we hold. Simultaneously with the stage gate review process, we also implemented the portfolio review. And in our portfolio review, so we, in other companies, there is only one end-year review process. In our case, we have mid-year review and then end-year review. And to prepare for this mid-year review and end-year review, portfolio management sits together with the functional experts, and they go project by project, and they evaluate the projects based on predefined parameters. And then, based on the expert input, we compare the projects for these different parameters, and the project teams present to the project review committees. And the fact that we have compared the projects through the same lenses allows the PRC to take decisions. Are we working on the right projects? Do we need to further invest resources on this or that project? And also assign priorities. And our mid-year review and also our end-year review are also aligned with the finance processes, with the budget review, and the end-year review is aligned with the strategy and the business plan. Then this is just some of examples that we can use in early projects. So we can use spider graphs with parameters. So here we just put some of the parameters that we use at our company. You can use the ones that you find that can define better the value for you. You can go less complex. Then you can plot the data in heat maps, and you can then visualize as well with, for example, bubble graphs or other types of graphs. And this is particularly useful for early projects because we still don't do NPV calculations. So in our case, we start looking really for the business case and really more quantitative factors from phase one. Although, as I mentioned, we look to a forecast in terms of epidemiology, prevalence, and market size already from the very beginning. So what are the challenges? So I think, and probably some of you would identify with this picture. I think tools, processes, governance, it's the easiest part to implement, and this is really what is visible. But when you come to an organization that probably has never heard about portfolio management, or even in a more mature organization, I think people are really the most important factor to address. And there are many things we don't see that are really not visible. And you will hear at the beginning, we don't need it, it's too much work, it's too complicated. This is for pharma, we are biotech. And I think what Laura in my team and myself experienced is that at the beginning, people are curious to understand what it is about. Then they will probably refuse really to do the simple things as like monthly reports to inform the organization because it's too much work. People will be frustrated. I don't think we had cases of depression, but with time, I think, and we see that the people start accepting as a new normal. The people really appreciate the fact that they know where to go when they need a decision taken. And also because we share information with the company, the people also appreciate to be informed. So it's like we don't just receive from them and then it goes to a black box. We also give it back in the form of information that they can use. So what are the opportunities? It's portfolio management gives the opportunity even in a biotech to have a multidisciplinary fact-based project evaluation and prioritization. Science and business parameters are important, as I had mentioned. We give clear project governance and process that enables faster decision making. We focus the company resources and accelerate the projects that are most valuable for the organization. It enables us to stop non-value add projects for the organization and release resources to start new projects or accelerate high priority projects. And as mentioned, not less important, it allows us to keep an aligned and informed organization because there is clarity on which projects we have, what is the priority, and also on the timeline. So it's not easy to implement portfolio management, but I think it's worth it. So as a framework, I would say, start with the people really on alignment of what the organization needs, and then communicate to the organization, try to keep the organization motivated by sharing information with them, not just receiving. And for example, we also organize some training sessions where we explained and gave exercises on portfolio management, decision analysis, for the people also to understand why it's needed and why it's useful. And then, of course, you have the tools. Really look to the organization and the user requirements, start simple, and communicate and reevaluate from time to time if you are still on the right track or if you need to further implement new tools in function of the maturity of the company and your portfolio. And this is everything I had for today. And in case you have questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anna. It was really insightful, really wonderful. And exactly as you said, please, there are actually people clapping hands for you. Thank you so much. Yeah, feel free to, this is what we've done before. Feel free to unmute yourself if you've got any questions, so then we can have a discussion if you feel free to do so. And Anna is more than happy to answer any of your questions. So I'll give it a little bit of a time. Yeah, I can see Vladimir turned his camera on.
And he's on mute.
Yeah, I would like to ask several questions just for starting.
Yeah, thank you. And what do you do? If you can maybe just briefly introduce yourself.
I'm consultant, and I did some, and I'm doing some work in portfolio. And my question is, as far as I understood from your presentation, you think that for biotech only Excel is a suitable tool. Am I correct or not?
No, what I'm saying is that we should not start with tools, and we should start in a simple way, right? So, and we analyzed many different softwares, and at the end, these softwares are made, most of them, for large pharma organizations. And there are some that already start thinking about biotech, but we thought that considering the maturity of our organization and the size of our portfolio, Excel was still the best for us. But this does not mean that Excel is the only tool. For another organization, they might find it's more useful to have a software.
Okay. It means okay. Now I understand that.
Yeah.
It means that you use only Excel in your organization, right, for portfolio management.
Yeah, and for resource management, we are starting to think that, if you want really to do more scenarios and optimize your resources, probably to introduce a software.
Yeah, but what kind of software for resource management?
Well, I don't want to, to start doing publicity, but there are many different options for the large providers that everyone knows, like Planisware, that they have smaller softwares like Orchestra for smaller companies, or Project Server from Microsoft Project Management.
Okay, may I ask you, just you mentioned several times that biotech and big pharma are different from kind of portfolio management, in terms of portfolio management capabilities, and therefore they use different, and all tools are for pharma, not for biotech, right?
Well, I say that most of the tools, mainly on strategic project management, the tools are more suitable and suited for large pharma.
And
what's
the difference between between
between
pharma and biotech in terms of portfolio management? Because we know that, for example, let me finish, please. We know that, for example, we have very big biotech companies like Biogen, Amgen, etc., etc. And we at the same time we have small pharma. And what's the difference between pharma and biotech and for portfolio in terms of, for portfolio management?
So the principles, I would say, are exactly the same, but the size of portfolio and the number of users is different. And so, for example, if you go to Planisware or PlanView or one of these big or Enrich, they will immediately tell you our software is too big for the number of users that you have in your company.
And that's it?
They will tell you that.
How about interdependence between projects, between drug development programs? For example, the same molecule could be used in several indications. How your favorite Excel could address this issue?
We can use some plugins, and you can do like decision analysis with using different tools, but still Excel based. So so far we have not really reached the point, considering the size of our portfolio. And I don't know if you have seen at the very beginning.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. So it's very small. But
maybe somebody else would like to ask questions.
Yeah, and for me, it's like if there are consultants.
I warmed it up a little bit.
This is exactly what we want, to create
Vladimir,
a discussion.
If you talk to consultants that are in the area of software, I think there is an opportunity, mainly on the strategic side, to really develop tools that can be more suitable for small companies. They're not so expensive.
Yeah, thank you, Vladimir, for asking questions. This is exactly what we want, to create a discussion. I can actually see there are a few questions popping up, so I'm going to address those. Joe asks a question. When you got into resource management at the biotech, did you go to individual/named resource level or generic role? I'm going through this currently. Thank you, Joe.
So we do it based with the names of the individuals and the resources. because and everything then it could be ready to, for example, to be adapted to a software where then we can play more with the people. At the moment, the functions, because they are not so big, they can still visualize and play with the resources that they have and allocate easily. But we started immediately with the names of the people and not just generic. Generic, now we are trying, based on the years of experience that we have, we are trying to look for each stage, what are the, so this is Laura, she was in the call before. So which capabilities do we need for each stage, and what is the number of resources that we need in order to have information that then can be used to better plan future projects, considering that also each project is different.
Yeah, thank you. That was a wonderful question. Thank you, John. Thank you, Anna, for giving the insights. There's a question from Alice. How many iterations of the framework did you go through before establishment, and how much input/weight of opinion did you give to the senior management? So that's from Alice. Thank you.
Well, I think it's a good question, because at the end, I think the governance, right, is management, so they decide. But I think they accepted everyone needs, and so I have not seen like a big pushback from management on the organization needs. Sometimes there is some negotiation between portfolio management and the senior management that is required, because it is like that, right? So when you come with something new, management is not also going to upload immediately until they see the value.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, and if anyone has any further questions regarding this, feel free to put it in a chat or start a conversation publicly. The workout platform, that's what it's there for. I'm sure people will give you different answers.
I would have a question to Anna. It's
me,
hi.
Ulrike.
Hi, Ulrike.
Hello. First of all, thanks for the excellent presentation, and congratulations for the implementation. This is really a challenge for an organization that has never done this approach before. So really, congrats. And my question relates actually to the resource management. Mm-hmm. I saw that you had in your spider graph, for example, feasibility, and I would like to know whether or not you considered the resources in a kind of semi-quantitative aspect, or have you not considered it at all?
Now, for feasibility, we look more to, like, for example, feasibility, translatability, like, do we have the right models in place? Is it, does, for example, for us, does it have single agent activity at the beginning in the clinic? So more, how feasible, how likely it is that the DARPin will be suited to develop such a candidate. So for each parameter, we have a list of questions that we go through, but we did not consider resources. So resources is at the end. So when we have different projects, then either, we first try to optimize the resources, then prioritize, and if we cannot fulfill all the needs of the projects, either we stop the project, hold, or we eventually ask for more resources to the board.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, thank you both. I'm not sure if that answers, everything that you wanted to know.
Yes, that's fine. I understood that in this whole prioritization exercise, the resources have not been considered in a semi-quantitative way. No. So you are now about to start, as you said, to introduce a software for quantitative resource management.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's great. Thanks.
Thank you, Ulrike.
Yeah, thank you, Ulrike. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, is there anyone else who would love to ask, and use the time that we've got with Anna? She's really, I can actually see some people unmuting. Maybe that's a sign. Greg, maybe I can see. Maybe I'll give it a time. Sorry, I kind of take it as a sign when people unmute themselves that they kind of, they're, finding the strength to talk out loud. Yeah, is there anything else, Anna, that you would like to add as a piece of information, advice for anyone starting out, anything that you can kind of think about?
No, I think, it's really that each company, as also Vladimir, I think, was alluding to, is different. Each company has its needs. And again, there is no one size that fits all. I think the principles of portfolio and resource management are the same. It's just the way you use them in the organization. And I think it's really looking to two things. It's like the size and the maturity of the organization. I think that's very important.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. And if there are no more questions, I would just like to say that, this was being recorded and we will post it to our YouTube channel online. If you have any further questions, feel free to post them publicly at the PPM Workout platform. There's actually someone raising a hand. I love this feature. Casey?
Yeah, hi, sorry.
Yeah,
I did
hi,
have a
thank you so
question.
much.
No, thank you guys. I wanted to ask if you could speak just a little bit more about the scope of decisions that take place within the team versus those that go to portfolio and how that is working.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we really try everything that is in scope, budget, and timelines. We really try to keep to the project level. But if there is new data, for example, and it can be internal new data or external from a competitor that we think will affect our project, then we go to the governance. So that's how the project teams do it. And then, of course, we have the gates and the project reviews. So that's how we do it.
So do you have more dedicated resources to projects? You don't have a lot of resource contention between projects that needs resolution?
Yes. So for example, so when one project needs more resources, that's also one case that the governance, will intervene. And there it will be about, so for example, if we have our COVID program ongoing, and this is one of our top priority programs because it's a pandemic, right? So if we need more resources, then another project will have to give those resources, right? Or we also can go to external capabilities and use them to resource our projects. So we try to find a solution, but resources are, I think, always limited.
Of course, yes. And so as part of your role, you help the teams develop these
Yes.
options. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're
That's
welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much for popping in and raising hands. I love that feature. It's incredible. Is there anyone else who would love to ask any further questions? I'll wait a little. If not, as I was mentioning, feel free to pose your questions online at the platform. It's there as a tool available for professionals. We've just had another professional from pharma posting an article there today, so go and check it out. And I would love to take a moment to thank Anna for accepting the invitation again. This was really, really insightful, and I love how everyone really just participates and asks questions. This is what's all about. So thank you, Anna. Thank you again so much for.
Yeah, and feel free to reach out and to have a discussion on portfolio management. I find and sharing experiences, that's always very interesting.
Yeah, thank you. That's exactly what this is all about. All these webinars and why Summit. This is exactly why we do it. So bringing people closer together, and we still got 3 other wonderful keynotes and presentation webinars this week, 4 other ones next week. So, feel free to join us. You will hear from me, via email. So join us, and we try to keep it short and sweet. And this is exactly what it was with Anna today. She's a professional. She knows what she's doing. So thank you everyone for joining us. And I'll leave you for today. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And thank you again, everyone, for joining. This was lovely.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have a
Bye-bye.
great day.
Bye. Bye.